What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode. This is episode number 42, and we're starting today's stuff on the back of beginning the new season with Arminia Bielefeld. 3 signings, 3 sales so far, but one player that's not leaving is Jamie Llewellyn. 2 bids, including swap deals to start off with from Granada, and also our former team Brentford both rejected, and also a bid here for Dardai from Wolfsburg rejected as well. Quite a few bids start today's episode off. Another one for Aaron Martin, our youth goalkeeper at the academy at the back end last season. 70 overall. 17 years old. This guy's definitely got some serious potential. But speaking of goalkeepers, well, in today's episode, with around 20 million in our budget, I decided to make a big decision. We sold Stefan Ortega to Benfica in the last episode. His tenure at Bielefeld came to an end. He wanted first team football, and I was fine to let him go, but I decided to bring in someone to replace him, and what a bargain buy this could prove to be. He spent time in the Bundesliga before he moved on to Manchester City, and then had a loan spell at Dusseldorf as well. Out of contract at the end of the season, wasn't sure he was going to get a new one or not. Pep Guardiola willing to let him go on the cheap, and for £15 million, welcome back to the Bundesliga, the American Zach Steffen. Yes, on a 4-year, 55 grand a week deal, Steffen makes his return to the German top tier. And at 29 years old, he's a couple of years younger than Ortega, but also a rating higher as well. I love the 81 kick, and you know that's very important to me as we play out for in the back. And I feel like this guy right now is entering his prime. Goalkeepers do tend to peak in their late 20s to early 30s. Zach Steffen is in, and this is such a tough call, but as much as we love Schuster, 10 years younger, but 9 ratings lower, I think Zach, who's taken the number 1 jersey, is going to be our number 1 this year. Yet Steffen comes in for £15 million. We spend the bulk of our remaining budget on bringing the American from the Etihad to the Schuko, and I think, as much as I love Schuster, I think it's probably the right thing to do, because, you know, Schuster is a great young goalkeeper, don't get me wrong. He's had a couple of games throughout the series so far where he's done really well, but at the end of the day, I talk about it a lot. When you're facing the AI on Ultimate and their shots are so powerful and so accurate as well, if you've not got a class goalkeeper, well, you might as well be praying, because at that point, when the shot gets taken, it's on target. You know there's a high chance it's going to find the back of the net. 72 overall, it's just a little bit lowly rated for a goalkeeper where, you know, this season we're going to be playing Champions League football. And, you know, against the mid-table, bottom half Bundesliga sides, 72 rated Schuster is fine. But his lack of ability really shows in the bigger clashes against the bigger teams. So as Steffen comes in, I think Schuster this year is going to be relegated to the bench and play most of his games in the cup. Whereas Steffen, I think, will take over as our starting goalkeeper this year. In the prime of his career right now, only getting better still at 29 years old. I think it's the right thing to do, you know? It's tough. It's a tough decision because I love Schuster, potentially special, but I really feel in the Champions League this year against the biggest and best teams, he will get a little bit exposed with the lack of ability he's currently got right now at just 19 years old. So with loads and loads of bids coming in for our players here, we have bids for our captain Piper, Felix Agu, another one for Dardai as well. Loads and bids coming in for our starters here. I rejected them all, including big bids from Hertha wanting to take Dardai back to Olympia Stadion, and also Ralph wanting to take Mardai to Old Trafford as well. Rejected these bids here. To me, like, we've just converted him from holding mid to centre half. He's jumped up to 84 overall. I figured out that the experiment and decision to play him at holding mid wouldn't necessarily call it a failure, but it was definitely the wrong thing to do. I'm not going to sell him now for a big fee, knowing just how good this guy could be for us and could really improve our back line as well. However, I'm going to loan out Thomas. He's one of our young goalkeepers out of the academy. We've got so many great young goalkeepers here with Arminia Bielefeld. Now Steffen's coming as well. He's simply not going to get the game time. So I'm going to loan him out to Real Zaragoza as you also reject this bid here for Kruger from Benfica. So heading into the opening game of today's episode, the opening game of the season, first and only game today. It is Liverpool in the Super Cup, who won the Champions League last season. And I've got to be honest, I was quite excited for this game here. You know, to win the Europa League last season, our first trophy to save, and now take on the Champions League holders. These are the caliber of European teams we'll be facing this year in the Champions League. And I feel like in the Europa League last season, you know, we faced some big teams, we faced some good sides. We never really faced what you'd call a giant, if you will. We never really faced one of the massive teams in Europe on our way to winning the competition. In the Champions League, these are the sort of teams we'll be facing on a regular basis. If we're going to reach the quarterfinals like the board won, well, this is a big test of just how good we've got with Bielefeld and to see how much progress we've made and just how strong enough we are to compete with these sort of sides. Liverpool, Champions League winners, UEFA Super Cup. And heading into the game as well, you'll see my lineup, or you'll see my lineup here. I did decide to rotate quite a few of my players for this game here with a game in the Bundesliga on the weekend. Far more important to me, despite the fact this was technically a trophy. So heading into the Super Cup, a mix of starters and also bench players for this one. We had the first couple of chances of the game. I decided to be brave in the early stage. I feel that win against Mönchengladbach in the penultimate game of last season really made me feel as though in the games I play, I've got to be on it right from the very first whistle and try and exploit the fact that goals are just so common in this year's FIFA. I know that sounds a bit obvious, but you know what I'm trying to say here. But unfortunately, 32 minutes in, this is exactly what I was alluding to earlier. I gave Schuster the start because whilst I do plan to have Stefan as my starting goalkeeper this year, there's no reason why Schuster can't make his way, or make his case I should say, to be our starting goalkeeper and still remain as our first choice goalkeeper. But Jota from range, first shot on target, finds the back of the net and it's 1-0. Would Stefan have saved it? Possibly, but 72 rated Schuster stood no chance. We were behind by a goal heading into the break, but hadn't played too badly. 4 minutes after the restart, found our deserved leveller. Jamie Llewellyn with the goal. Buzzing to see him back on the score sheet once again after another serious injury last season. We tied the game, it's 1-1, and I was thinking, okay, alright, you know, I can battle against these guys. I can match up with them. I've been doing it all game long. But Liverpool, right after conceding that leveller, right on the edge of our area, played some really good football, lovely passing, great incisive passing and moving, and directly after conceding a leveller, got back in front. Minamino with the finish as the Reds restored their lead practically instantly, and this was just such a brilliant goal. It is one of those wake up moments, do you know what I mean, where you're like, okay, alright, these are the sort of teams we're competing with next year, or this year I should say, in Europe. This is the sort of stuff they can do. Yep, this is going to be really hard to defend against this season in the Champions League, because you know my defense isn't great regardless. That was just brilliant. Great passing move, great finish by Minamino, and the Reds are back in front. Directly afterwards, we once again showed we've got quality when going forward. Nankishi off the bench hitting the woodwork as we were still down by a goal, but soon afterwards, well, again, it was just the case in point there. Shot from Minamino was okay, but Schuster probably should have saved this one as well. I think blaming him for the first goal will be a little bit harsh, but for this moment here, it's a decent effort by Minamino. He sees it late after the hurdle, but straight at him, probably should have stopped it. Doesn't. Liverpool go 3-1 up, and you know, going forward, I was really frustrated because I was actually playing pretty well. Jonas Hoffman from range goes close here, firing this shot from 20 yards over, but it was at the back where I was struggling, and that's a common thing I've said all throughout this year's FIFA. Defending at times is almost impossible, and after Carlson leaves Tyler Kerry, and it does find Samikaz, the Greek fullback, further forward, smacks one in from just inside the area, finds the top corner. Can't blame Schuster for that one, but it's Liverpool 4, Arminia Bielefeld 1, and I was like, okay, alright, these are the sort of teams we're facing in the Champions League this year. And this is going to be a really tough season if we're going to reach the quarterfinals like the board won. Again, going forward, I looked pretty decent, but at the back I was getting sliced open time after time again. A great save by Schuster here, to his credit, towards the end, kept the score at 4-1, but that was how the game would finish. I feel as though the scoreline was a little bit harsh on us. I didn't think we played that badly to lose by 3 clear goals. Going forward, we probably should have scored more than 1, but at the back, Liverpool's quality shone through. They're one of the best attacks in the world when they're clicking and firing on all cylinders. They proved that in the Super Cup. Liverpool 4, Bielefeld 1, and our first test against a European giant ends in a pretty harrowing defeat here in the Super Cup. Not gonna lie, we're underdogs for the game, no doubt about it, but this was a wake-up call. Welcome to the big leagues, Arminia Bielefeld. Statistically, didn't play badly at all, but this is the level we want to get to. Fact of the matter is, whilst we are getting there, we're not there just yet. So, yeah, 4-1 the final score, a chance to win our second honour of the save. I wouldn't say blown because you're up against a far better side, but failed to take it. Liverpool showing their dominance in this game here, but wasn't one bit surprised. Welcome to the big leagues, Arminia Bielefeld. So following that, we did see that Thomas has been loaned out to Zaragoza. That's the final thing we'll see in today's episode. We'll keep an eye on him here in the Spanish leagues, but despite a harrowing defeat there to Liverpool, there were some positives in that game. Going forward, we look good, and as a 4.5-star team as well, heading into the new season, we've still got a little bit of money in our budget, but I don't think I'm going to make major change between now and the end of the window. Despite the big loss, I trust this team this year to keep on progressing and make more steps forward. But that will end today's episode of the Bundesliga Career, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you haven't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode featuring the first games of the Bundesliga season and a draw for the Champions League group stage. Let's hope we not got Liverpool very soon.